Hi, my friends, and happy Halloween to you. It's your tour guide to the horror side, me, Preston E. And on this video, we're going to have a look at the 40th anniversary of Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is a sequel and continuation of George A. Romero's Living Dead franchise. First came Night of the Living Dead in 1968. Then Dawn came in 1978. And finally, Day rounded out the Dead trio of terror trilogy in 1985. Until Land came out in 2005, it remained a trilogy of terror, and since 68 all the way up to 1985, it seemed like there was going to be a George A. Romero zombie movie for each decade. But alas, 1990 didn't have one unless you count the remake, Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead.
Now, George A. Romero takes us out of the night, beyond the dawn, and into the darkest day of horror the world has ever known.
Day of the Dead is exactly as the title says. The outdoor shots are all in the daytime, but a majority of this movie is quite dark, both literally and figuratively, as a great deal of the scenes take place in a bunker as a group of scientists and military personnel are stationed trying to find a cure and ways of dealing with the growing zombie outbreak.
We're in the minority now. Something like 400,000 to 1 by my calculations.
Laurie Cardille stars as Sarah, a scientist and the only female in a male-dominated bunker. Laurie Cardille is the daughter of Chilly Bill Cardille, who played the field reporter in the original Night of the Living Dead.
Colin, this is Bill Cardille, WIC TV 11 News.
Thank you, Bill, for that report.
Laurie continues the proud family tradition of acting in a George A. Romero zombie movie as a scientist who is looking for a way to cure and reverse the zombie process. Her other scientific team members include Fisher, played by John Amplas, who is her main white coat confidant and plays it straight as opposed to Dr. Logan, a.k.a. Frankenstein, a charming but somewhat nutty and eccentric old guy who slices up zombie specimens in a result to try and figure out how to tame the living dead. His star pupil is a tame and intelligent zombie he calls Bub, played by Sherman Howard. And Dr. Logan is played by Richard Liberty. Bub is like a warmed-over Frankenstein monster who Dr. Logan has helped recall memories of his past life and simple tasks he once did as a living human.
What are we supposed to do? Teach him tricks?
Besides the scientific team, Laurie's other allies are the drunk Irish engineer McDermott, played by Jarlath Conroy.
And I will continue doing my best in the good fight against dry rot and rust.
And Terry Alexander as the sensible and friendly helicopter pilot named John. And later we will find out that John is quite the philosopher himself. He tends to think that the zombie outbreak is due to divine punishment.
We've been punished by the Creator. He visited a curse on us.
The scientific team often clashes with the military team, especially the over-the-top, hot-headed Captain Rhodes, played to the hilt by Joseph Pilato.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein!
Captain Rhodes is joined by a small group of his military men, such as the burly bully Still, played by Gary Clark, and his loudmouth, joking buddy Rickles, played by Ralph Marrero.
Steele, shoot that woman.
Bang! You're dead.
Sarah has a boyfriend in this movie named Miguel Salazar, played by Anthony Palillo Jr. We meet Salazar along with Sarah, John, and McDermott in the helicopter attempting to rescue any survivors on a small island in the opening of the film. Spoiler alert, there isn't any. Having failed to find any survivors, the group head back to the bunker where Still and Rhodes are trying to wrangle some more zombies for Dr. Frankenstein to do experiments on. Salazar, who is collapsing from stress, is increasingly becoming a danger to himself and others. Tensions continue to heat up between the military personnel and the scientists, especially between Rhodes and Sarah. Eventually, Salazar's worsening mental state results in other men getting bitten by zombies they are trying to corral, including himself. After Salazar is bitten by a zombie, Sarah, John, and McDermott attempt to save his life by burning and amputating his bitten arm before infection can turn him into one of the living dead, and they prevent Rhodes and his men from killing him.
We gotta blast him, Captain. That'd be doing him a favor, Steve. You think he wants to walk around after he's dead? You think he wants to be one of those things?
Tensions are far from over, though, as Rhodes grows more and more out of control and kills Fisher and Logan in cold blood and forces John to promise to fly him and his men out of the bunker. Meanwhile, Salazar escapes and lets the zombies feast on him as an appetizer while pushing the elevator button for the horde to get down to the bunker to have a feast on the remaining living. John, Sarah, and McDermott escape while Rhodes abandons his men to become zombie chow. Bub, who breaks free from his chain, notices his fallen friend Frankenstein and goes to get revenge on Rhodes. Bub remembers how to shoot now, and Rhodes gets his just desserts while becoming just dessert to a group of zombies waiting for him. With all the military personnel now dead, the three survivors, John, Sarah, and McDermott, escape out of a silo and fly off in John's whirlybird to a secluded island, and thus ends Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead takes on a darker tone set by night, but amps up the violence and the gore even more. It even somehow tops Dawn of the Dead in the gore department. And I don't mean Al Gore either. I mean grisly, murderous stuff. Anyway, Day of the Dead is a far cry from the maddening fun and wild zombie romp of Dawn of the Dead, but it instills the sense of claustrophobic dread that Night of the Living Dead did by having much of the scenes take place in one area. In this case, the bunker, as Night of the Living Dead kept us largely in the farmhouse. The tensions are ratcheted up here, too. If you thought Ben and Harry Cooper from Night of the Living Dead hated each other, Rhodes and Sarah make those two look like buddies by comparison. Speaking of Rhodes, Joseph A. Pilato is a hoot to watch as the over-the-top captain with the Napoleon complex as he throws his weight around, bullies others, and constantly yells commands. He actually somehow makes Harry Cooper from Night of the Living Dead look tranquil by comparison.
You're crazy. Those things are going to be at every window and door in this place. We've got to get down into the cellar.
Go down in your damn cellar. Get out of here!
We ain't finished here, lady. Sit down. Sit down, or so help me God, I'll have you shot.
Is there food?
Listen, egghead, let me bring you up to date on what's been...
Excuse me. Is there food?
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein!
See what I mean? He's such a fun character to hate, though, and Pilato gives it his all in an over-the-top notch villainous performance. One could say that Rhodes is this way because he wants to protect his man, but in the end, it's every man for himself as he abandons his men and solidifies himself as a top-tier villain. Another standout performer here is Richard Liberty as kindly and somewhat mad Dr. Frankenstein Logan, who commands every scene he's in like a twisted version of Dr. Emmett Brown. Great Scott!
Liberty must be rewarded. If it isn't rewarded, there's no use for it. There's just no use for it at all.
Dr. Logan's relationship with tame and intelligent zombie Bub takes on a sweetness as Logan is as equally protective of Bub as Bub is heartbroken over the loss of Logan later in the film. Sherman Howard gives a fantastic performance as Bud. That's Bub, conveying so much in his facial expressions as he doesn't have words to rely on as, well, he's a zombie, and the only time we ever hear him talk, he's saying, "Hello, Aunt Alicia." He's much like a kid as he's learning to speak, and he's learning his motor skills. This lends a father and son-like relationship to Dr. Logan and Bub that is touching at times and fun to watch.
Hello, Aunt Alicia. Hello.
It's also in this movie where zombies are first shown to learn how to use firearms. As Bub recalls his military training, this would get even more of an upgrade with Big Daddy in Land of the Dead 20 years later. It's also in this movie that zombies are shown as sympathetic, more so than the humans many times. It touched on this a little bit in Dawn of the Dead, but here it is even more so explored with Bub. Tom Savini's special effects and makeup job in this movie gets an upgrade from Dawn of the Dead, as well as the fact that we have some pretty impressive special effects and gruesome-looking zombies that were not previously seen in Night and Dawn. Greg Nicotera also helps Tom out in the effects department and also plays Private Johnson. Besides the zombie Bub himself, some of the more memorable zombies to me are Dr. Tongue from the title sequence, as well as the pure off-the-wall zombies like the football player zombie known as Mailbox 22 and the Kooky Clown. Seriously, what's creepier than a regular clown? A zombie clown. And this would also get mentioned in Zombieland many decades later. Other standout performances in this film are Laurie Cardell as Sarah, who builds upon the tough heroine aspect that Fran and Don started by learning to shoot and fly a helicopter and take it to another level. No more Barbaras in distress here.
What's happening? What's happening?
Around here. I can take care of those two.
I don't
I know you're afraid, but we have
I don't know! I don't know! What's happening?
Terry Alexander as John is a sensible and likable African-American lead, continuing the tradition started with Dwayne Jones as Ben in Night of the Living Dead and Ken Foree as Peter in Dawn. Jarlath Conroy as McDermott gives us a much-needed sarcastic comic relief as Terry's booze-loving buddy. The music here, while not as iconic as Goblins in Dawn of the Dead, is certainly creepy and serviceable enough, and it's atmospheric and kind of an earworm of a tune beware. As previously mentioned, most of the scenes in Day of the Dead take place in an underground bunker in a limestone facility in Wampum, Pennsylvania. The opening outdoor scene is filmed in Fort Myers, Florida. Much of George A. Romero's original script of Day of the Dead was far more extensive than what wound up on film, as the movie had to be trimmed down from George's original vision. You can still find the original script of George A. Romero's Day of the Dead online. The original script is quite the epic that had to be cut down due to budgetary constraints and the fact that George wished to do the movie unrated as producers wanted an R rating. What is seen, however, is still an exceptionally good and at times overlooked and somewhat underrated zombie movie that has, however, got more appreciation over time. Thank you so much for watching, and please like, sub, and share. I've been Preston E. Garrison. Have a happy and safe Halloween, and I'm out of here.